Fortenbaugh. It's all coming up on today's episode of Bet. Haven't had a show together for 2 weeks. I missed you, buddy.
I did too, brother. But it's good to be back in the saddle with the partner by the side. So just show on the road.
That's all theatrics. We did Daily Wager this morning together, and we've been working together all week. We've seen each other quite a bit, but that's for you, the people. You, the people. As is this. Check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/ESPN Sports Betting. It's a channel where we continue to roll out more information. This guy's been red hot with the association, picks galore, all that good stuff. Check it out. Let us know what you think. All right, let's get to work and check out the market. Moves aplenty this week. Cleveland at one point was a pick'em against the Baltimore Ravens. That went up to 2.5. Don't be surprised. Cleveland's had 2 weeks to get ready for this game. Baker Mayfield says he's healthy. The Baltimore Ravens are dealing with a ton of injuries in the secondary.
Yeah, I like Cleveland in this spot, coming off of the bye and already having game plan the week prior for this team that is struggling in Baltimore.
Check out the total in Kansas City, Las Vegas. Opened 52.5 and is down to 48. Winds at kickoff around 15 to 20 mile an hour, so focus on that. Under is cashed in 6 of the last 7 for the Chiefs as the defense has been coming around.
Yeah, I do think the Chiefs offense will score in this matchup, though, because of the specific defense the Raiders like to play.
The Raiders, 16 or fewer points in 4 of their last 5 games. Bronco money's flooding the market, as is Niner money. But back to that matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and our Las Vegas Raiders. Let's call it moving day. All right, we're going to make 2 bets on games from the list you just saw, beginning with the showdown at Arrowhead. Chiefs laying 8.5. Total is 48. These two got together a few weeks ago. Excuse me, total's side is 9.5.
Yeah.
Total of 48. Got my penmanship mixed up. Not the first time that has happened. How would you bet this game today?
I do think the Chiefs offense is going to score some points. Now that it's under 10, I'm interested in the Chiefs side. When it was at 10, I kind of was staying away. But under 10, I like that at Arrowhead. But as I mentioned, I think the Chiefs will score despite some recent inefficiencies with their offense.
Good word.
In the last 6 games, the blow-up spot the Chiefs had was here in Las Vegas against this Raider team. Why is that? Patrick Mahomes threw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. It's because Gus Bradley runs strictly a cover 3 defense. And all the talk on NFL Live with Dan Orlovsky, Mina Kimes, Laura Rutledge, and Marcus Spears has been these offensive struggles for the Chiefs have been because teams that employ a too high shell look. And for whatever reason, that has given Patrick Mahomes some issues. Well, a cover 3 look, which allows more man coverage and Tyreek Hill to get deep on the perimeter and Travis Kelce to just roam free in the middle of the field, plays right into the strengths of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. And Gus Bradley's not one to change his scheme for the opponent. So I see a similar type of offensive output like we saw here at Allegiant Stadium. That's why I'm playing over 3.5 team touchdowns for the Chiefs.
Gosh, I hope you're kind of wrong. I hope you're right with the bet, but I hope some of the analysis is wrong, because I'm going to go under on Patrick Mahomes' passing yards prop, which is 291.5. Now, Tyler makes a lot of excellent points.
High enough.
Mahomes destroyed the Raiders a few weeks back. But we're asking him to produce a number that's higher than his season average, which is 282. So that right there's got to give you some pause, but look at the opponent. Again, he did shred the Raiders, but here's what else you have to keep in mind. He's only hit this number in 2 of 10 games this season. So it's not frequent that he's crushing 300 yards this year. One of those games, as mentioned, was against the Raiders. The Raiders, I do believe, will make at least some adjustments. And what will likely happen is that they will be so bad in this game, and Kansas City's defense, which is much improved, will get some stops, that late in this game, you're not going to need Mahomes to be throwing the ball all over the lot. Get your stats up, get your points, but if you're winning big at Arrowhead, get healthy and get off the field. Grind the game down with some rushing, and then we all move on. So we can thread the needle.
Thread the needle here.
Thread the needle here, but it's going to be tough. Game number 2, maybe we're more aligned on this one. Denver's laying 11.5. It's probably been since Elway that this team was laying 11.5 against anyone. Total of 42 against the Lions. How do you see it? Lions keep it cooking?
No, Lions don't keep it cooking. Have you seen the injury report for both of these teams? It's like a CVS receipt. There's like 25 names on each side. We already know that Jared Goff struggles against Vic Fangio defenses. That's part of the reason that Sean McVay and him ran out of favor when Fangio was a coordinator for Chicago, pardon me. Everyone copied that scheme, and since then Jared Goff has not looked the same. Coming off the big win, they're in a letdown spot. All kinds of guys, including DeAndre Swift, are out for this matchup. I'm just going to play the total under. It's outdoors in Denver. Maybe nice there today, but Goff indoors, much different than Goff outdoors against a very good Denver defense. I think the first team to 17 wins this game, and I think Denver's going to win the game. They can rely on Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams, who broke out to just pummel Detroit's softened run defense. So I don't want to lay this big number because I don't think Denver warrants that with how good they are. But I do think this is a low-scoring game because Detroit will definitely struggle to score on the road against this defense.
Did we ever get the reason as to why CVS gives you such a ridiculously long receipt?
I think they try and put a lot of different coupons in there for you, maybe.
Coupons, not coupons.
Coupons? You go Q?
I go coupon.
K-E-W.
Coupon. There's an O in there, so it's coupon, not coupons.
Well,
neither here nor there.
You say roster like roster.
I know. I got a lot of things wrong. I got Bengals, B-A-N-G-L-E-S. That's a huge problem. Jared Goff throws an interception.
Yeah, I like that.
What are we going to try to outthink the room here? All right. I'm not Oppenheimer, neither is he. We're not building the atomic bomb. Goff's going to get picked off at least once. That's minus 140 because they see us coming, but that implies about a 58% chance. I think the percentage chance of him throwing an INT is greater than 58%. He's thrown an INT in 3 of 5 road games this year, which is 60%. Denver's defense, 13 interceptions on the season, which is 11th in the NFL, so they are opportunistic back there. Major flat spot for the Lions. Denver INTs in 4 of 6 home games, 7 total. They've racked up a lot of doubles there, so we just need Goff to throw one INT. If he doesn't,
I'm telling you,
it's because he got hurt or a miracle happened.
I'm telling you, Fangio's defense scheme gives Goff issues as well. I like that bet.
Throw it early so I can turn the game off. I don't want to focus too much time on this one. All right, big showdown in Central Florida today as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are laying 3.5 against the Buffalo Bills. Jeff Darlington, man, myth, legend, is at Raymond James Stadium for this matchup. Jeff, what do the bettors need to know heading into today's showdown between the Bucs and the Bills?
Well, Joe, familiarity with an opponent is often viewed as a positive, but in the case of Tom Brady and the Buffalo Bills, I'm not so sure that's the case. Brady has beaten the Bills 32 times over the span of his career. That is the most a quarterback has beaten a single opponent in NFL history. And there's also carryover from the roster that Brady last faced when he was in New England and the one he'll face today. 14 players on defense for the Buffalo Bills will be out there today that were out there the last time Brady saw them. So familiarity, yes, and a Bills team that is improved. This is the best pass defense in the NFL against the NFL's best passing offense. A heavyweight battle, but when it comes to familiarity, that is on the side of Brady.
Well put together, as always, Darlington. I love the way the shoulders are cut on the suit jacket. Keep up the great work. That brings us to big dog, little dog. Rough. Big dogs, dogs of 3.5 or more. Little dogs, dogs of 3 or fewer. The goal here is to identify live dogs, dogs that can go out and not just cover the spread, but win the game outright. I'm going to begin today because I'm going to that one. I will take the Buffalo Bills at plus 3.5, but I like them to win the game if they're going to be my big dog. Let's be honest, with the options, I wasn't going to take Detroit to go out there and be a big dog. I just slandered them for a good 45 seconds on this program. First of all, whoever in the scheduling office came up with the sick joke to give the Bills Belichick and Brady back-to-back, hilarious. You probably a hit at cocktail parties. Western New York's not interested. Bounce back spot here. Buffalo's been very well in that situation, done very well in that situation this year. All 4 losses previously, 4-0 straight up, 3-0-1 against the spread, an average of 25 points per game. They're beating the opposition. Now, that opposition is not Tampa Bay. What Bruce Arians and Tampa Bay's defense pride themselves on is defending the run. They're one of the best. Buffalo doesn't want to run the ball. They're 18th in rushing attempts. They don't care. They want to throw. And Tampa ranks 20th in pass defense. There's going to be an opportunity. Hungry dogs hunt best. Buffalo is hungry. They are desperate. Tampa Bay, they're living large in the penthouse. 4-game lead in the division. Buffalo gets it done. Big dog. Where are you going?
Big dog for me. Again, not a lot to choose from. Right. And on Daily Wager, like you, I said I'm backing the Dallas Cowboys. But for this segment, I'm taking the Washington football team because they can certainly beat the Dallas Cowboys. Joe, tell me what could possibly go wrong for a Dallas Cowboys team coached by Mike McCarthy, guaranteeing victories.
Well, right there,
before the week
Mike
started.
McCarthy, nothing can go wrong.
Guaranteeing victories before the week started in a division game against Ron Rivera and an opponent that's won 4 straight games. And we just saw this morning on Twitter that Jerry Jones flew the Dallas Cowboys benches from AT&T Stadium to Washington and plopped them down on FedEx Field. Like, Okay, I like the Cowboys. They're the more talented team. They're finally healthy, but you're tempting a lot of fate here with these shenanigans, McCarthy and Jerry, for a Ron Rivera coach team. Ron Rivera doesn't like to pull off upsets. Ron Rivera doesn't like bulletin board material. His teams don't play hard. So, again, I think the Cowboys are the better team. But for this segment, boy, you're tempting a lot of fate there, Dallas, for a team that hasn't done jack since 1993.
Could you, well done, by the way, could you imagine trying to explain this to a World War I veteran and just be like, yeah, the seats aren't warm the whole time and it's going to be 50 degrees, so we're going to fly our own benches so that they're always warm.
So our butts are warm in 50-degree weather.
But is it that inconvenient? It's not like it's Lambeau in January.
And why do you need warm benches inside a dome stadium in Dallas?
No, this game's in Washington.
I know, but I'm like,
why would you?
Why would you need those at home?
Jerry likes to pamper his team.
I don't get it.
He likes to pamper
So, yes,
his
what could possibly go wrong for Dallas as the steam is moving their way towards 7? What could
Why would
possibly
they
go
have
wrong?
heated benches inside the Dome Stadium? What do you got for Little Dogs?
Little dog here, I'm going to go to Cincinnati. Again, this is another one before when the week started and the Bengals were favored. I like the 49ers.
Pronounced Bangles.
Bengals. B-A-N-G-L-E-S.
It feels good when you say it that way.
But, again, not a lot to choose from here in terms of Little Dog. I wasn't going to tempt fate with my L.A. Rams. So I'll take Bengals +2 because they do have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. Even though Joe Burrow is banged up with that pinky, going up against a San Francisco pass funnel defense that just put 2 cornerbacks on IR. So as long as Jamar Chase doesn't give away interceptions to the other team like he did against the LA Chargers last week.
That was ridiculous, by the way.
The Bengals, to me, are a live dog. They're a good team, and San Francisco, under Kyle Shanahan, has done extremely well in the underdog role. When they're expected to do well, San Francisco, under Kyle Shanahan, they have failed to live up to expectation often. So I like that this has flipped a little bit for Cincinnati if we need a dog.
My little dog is the Joe Fortenbaugh. It will not make his TV game of the week, and that's Atlanta, Carolina. This game is not limited TVs. And even if I had a TV for every game, I would still go to another sport or another option, possibly Blippy for my kids, rather than put this on. But I will bet it because I like the idea of Atlanta catching points here. Carolina is a mess. A story that didn't get nearly enough attention, they fired Joe Brady, their offensive coordinator, during their bye week. Joe Brady, the guy who was the mastermind behind, partially, the LSU National Championship. Like, they didn't like what was happening there. He's gone. Christian McCaffrey out for the season. I don't know who's playing quarterback, but whoever it is, it's not good. Those options are absolutely terrible in Carolina. And Atlanta, there's not a whole lot to give you positively about Atlanta. They continue to show up each week, and they almost covered against Tampa last week. Like I said, I'm not going to be watching much of this game, but to games that are more important. Divisional showdowns. A lot of drama today. 3 big divisional showdowns that require reinforcements on this program.
Ooh.
So joining Tyler Fulghum and myself, friend of ours from Daily Wager, Erin Dolan, you know her, you love her, even if she's an Eagles fan like myself, do not hold that against her.
Hold that against you guys.
Erin, welcome to the show. We're going to start with Packers-Bears. Green Bay laying 11.5, total of 43. How would you play this one tonight?
So for this game, we've kind of been talking about it all week. We expected this line to move out in terms of the Packers because, like Aaron Rodgers has even said himself, he owns the Packers. He's 20-7 all-time against the spread for this team, including the playoffs. So for me, considering sharp money is coming in on the Bears, then you have the public all over Green Bay, but the line is moving down. You either play the first half spread, which right now is Green Bay -6. They're 7-4 against the spread in the first half compared to the Bears 5-6 against the spread for the first half. That's a better way to play it, or potentially even live bet this game. But for me, staying away from the spread altogether.
That's smart wagering by Aaron, looking at the steam, where the money is going, where the public is at. I'm just going to be the noob who backs the public here because I know that Aaron Rodgers absolutely owns this Chicago Bears team. So I'll lay the 11.5. I'm also going to play the Green Bay Packers over 3.5 team touchdowns. Now that gives me a little bit of a safety net or insurance against Chicago's offense surprisingly awakening with Justin Fields back under center.
Yeah,
But
okay.
what are the chances that a Chicago defense without Akeem Hicks, Khalil Mack, and Danny Trevathan slow down Aaron Rodgers when he's got now a healthy Aaron Jones to go with this beast A.J. Dillon plus Devontae Adams? I don't see much getting in the way of Aaron doing whatever the hell he wants against this defense on his home turf. So I like the Packers in this game. I like them to score at least 4 touchdowns, kind of protect against that spread. That's the way I'm going to play this officially at plus 130 on the return that you get a nice ROI.
Erin Dolan, that is, makes great points. The problem is that no one informed her this show is not about great points. This show is about wild speculation and reckless gambling, which is what we do here on Bet. I am with the idiot to my left. I will also lay the huge number against the Chicago Bears. Here's the handicap. Give me a singular reason why the Bears will do anything in this game. I'll wait. I can't. Contractually, we have to get this show going. But the offense stinks. The coaching staff is going to be fired. They're on the road against an opponent who dominates them at every turn. It's Sunday Night Football. That aforementioned opponent is off the bye. This will be a bloodbath. I don't see any way the Bears. What are the Bears going to do? Justin Fields will be naturally put in a position in which he will be set up to fail because of the coaching staff, and the Bears will get rolled in this game. Now, if Erin ends up being right, we're going to come back and we're going to praise her next week. And she's going to lay out more good information. And Tyler and I will be the case. We'll probably go the opposite of her again and not learn our lesson. But that gives us an opportunity to bet game number 2, which is Monday Night Football's game, Erin. Big showdown at the Big Toaster. Arizona laying 2.5, total of 51.5 against the Rams. Are you surprised that the Cardinals aren't even laying the full field goal here?
I am, but first, I still need props for taking the over on Thursday Night Football when everybody went for the under. But nonetheless, okay, in this game, Monday Night Football, we have a lot of money coming in on the Arizona Cardinals, yet the line is not moving out to 3.5 is what I expected. For me, go player props in this situation. I like Kyler Murray over 265.5 for his passing yards. He's averaging 267, and he was limited last week against the Bears to his season low in terms of passing yards, but I think he'll be able to get it done in this game, have a bounce back game. Just given these two teams and the Rams really trying to make a push in the NFC West, and they need this win, and they haven't been great. They did not win one game straight up in November. They had one win over the Jags last week. I mean, I don't see any reason this line shouldn't be longer. So for me, I'm definitely going with the player props this week.
She still has a lot to learn. We don't tout our winners around here. We know you won on Thursday. This show is about losing bets, not winning bets. I'm just kidding. That was a great call Thursday night.
This is not about losing bets.
Yeah, she was the lone wolf in a couple of ways on that show, and she was right in both scenarios. So well done, Erin. I don't know if you know this, Erin. I don't even know if you know this, Joe, but before the Rams moved to St. Louis, I was an Eagles fan in the early 90s. Randall Cunningham was my guy.
You can't switch. You can't switch up on
He's
teams.
so full of it. He is so full of it. This is
Ask
a lie.
my mother. I had a Reggie White helmet and a Randall Cunningham poster in maybe still in my bedroom at my dad's house. I'm not sure. But I'm with Erin here on this game. I'm going to go over 51.5. I would love to back my Rams, but I just think with what the Cardinals have shown us this year, it'd be foolish to doubt the Cardinals yet again. Best record in the NFL, second best ATS record behind only the Packers. Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins are back. Meanwhile, the Rams offense trying to transform from an 11 personnel team that had Robert Woods and no Odell Beckham to now losing Robert Woods, adding Odell Beckham, and now Sony Michel is taking over as a feature back because it looks like Darrell Henderson's not going to be available, and I think that's better for the Rams. They'll run some more 12 personnel. That run game will become more diverse. There'll be more play-action stuff for Matt Stafford rather than just dropping back out of the gun, which has made this team more efficient. So I think they'll be scoring in this game. Rams, especially more than they did the first game in LA, and the Cardinals have scored on pretty much everyone this year when Kyler is healthy. I don't expect that to change. So I'll go over 51.5 here. I lean to the Cardinals, though, because with my Rams, it's like you beat everyone you're supposed to. You've really only beaten the Bucs as far as a good team this season, so prove it. Prove it. So that's why I'll back the Cardinals.
This is the Sherlock Holmes game of the week. Something smells. You got to be a detective, and you got to realize this line is out of whack for a reason. The Rams are the play. I'd love to give you reasons why, but explain something to me. The team with the best record in the NFL, that has the second best record against the spread, top 5 in scoring offense, top 5 in scoring defense, at home. They've already beaten this team once this year. They're not even laying a customary 3 points.
Right.
And on a Monday Night Football game here, this game stinks. Now, that being said, a few weeks ago, the line stunk with the Rams and the Packers. I jumped all over the Rams. I got my teeth kicked in. So let's just acknowledge that for what it is. But something is way off with this line that they're not even playing 3. I'm playing the Rams. I'm too smart. I'm too smart to fall for this trap.
The way the Rams win is by what they did against Jacksonville. Sony Michel dominating the line of scrimmage, keeping the ball out of Kyler Murray's hands, and that now has a little bit higher probability with Henderson on the shelf.
I swear to God, Stafford, this better not be one of those games from a few weeks back. It better be last week's game. Fuck up. Cleveland laying 2.5, total of 43.5 against the Baltimore Ravens. Dianna Russini is in Cleveland for today's AFC North showdown. Hey, Dianna, how is Baker Mayfield feeling after that extra week off?
The bye week could not have come at a better time for the Cleveland Browns. Not only did this team need rest, but they needed to get healthy. Baker Mayfield dealing with all sorts of injuries leading into the bye, shoulder, leg, ankle, knee, all of it. As for how he feels now, his teammates say he is still pretty banged up, and this offense is going to rely on the run game. Now, we know that they've struggled against this Ravens front, and I was told they are going to let Baker air it out a few times in this one.
Great stuff, Diana. Love the turtleneck. Let's bring them back like we used to have in the early 2000s.
It's getting to be turtleneck season.
Yeah, structure season.
Definitely
all that
sweater
good
season
stuff
over there.
All right, nonsense aside, let's go back to Erin Dolan. Erin, how would you play this game? Cleveland's laying 2.5. Total is up to about 43.5 right now. What do you like?
Yeah, so I just saw this actually bumped up to Ravens +3 within the last basically 2 minutes. So I love the Ravens +3. I'd said earlier on Daily Wager I didn't like it at +2.5. I think there's way too much public money coming in on the Cleveland Browns. We're banking on Baker Mayfield to be trustworthy in terms of saying he's healthy and whatnot. I'm not really buying it, especially considering the Ravens open at -1. So for me, I do like the Ravens at +3. I would grab that now before it goes back down. And then in terms of the total, I do like the under for this game. I talked about that as well. It is inching up just a little bit. I've seen it get as high as 44 this morning, but definitely playing the under because I think this will be a tight game. Ravens only have had 15 points in their last 4 games. As for the Browns, they've only hit over 17 points just once in their last 7 games. So I definitely think this will be an under matchup and very, very competitive.
Yeah, I'm with you, Aaron, there in terms of it being an under game as well. I like the Cleveland side if it is under a field goal at 2.5. The Browns played the Ravens a couple of weeks ago, game plan for that. Then went on the bye and come out of the bye playing the exact same team, a team that is struggling offensively and just keeps having all kinds of injuries happen to them on the other side. Now Marlon Humphrey is gone, so even though the Cleveland passing game is not explosive, they don't have the 2 starting corners, Humphreys and Peters, to worry about. So that helps raise the floor and ceiling a little bit for Baker Mayfield, as healthy as he may be. So I think the safer play is the under here because the defense of the Cleveland Browns has the weapons to keep Baltimore inefficient as they have been. Plus, Kevin Stefanski wants to run the football with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt back and keep that clock moving. So I definitely like the under here, but under 3, if I have to pick a side, Cleveland would be the side as well.
A little bit of a disclaimer before I get going here. I am terrible betting Ravens games this season. I don't know what the hell I'm doing with these games. So I'm going to bet under with these two and blame them if it loses and credit myself if it wins. Look at the pace for these two teams. Tyler's right, Aaron's right. They both love to run the ball, but they both rank 26th or slower in pace. This is a familiar division rivalry. Defenses know what each other wants to try to get across. Baker might be healthy. He might be a little bit better, but what does that mean? He's going to be great? Probably not. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens offense have been brutal. 19 points per game on the road, 18 points per game over their last 6. They haven't done a whole lot. I agree with the two geniuses before me. I will play the under, as well. Erin Dolan, dynamic stuff. Thank you for classing up the joint. We appreciate it. We'll catch you next week.
Is that turtleneck season, by the way,
Of course.
Aaron? Is she are you officially turtleneck?
That is
It
turtleneck
is. This
season.
is actually a dress, but it's a turtleneck dress, you know?
Turtleneck dress.
Turtle
Same
dress.
thing.
And also, like an idiot, I was saying goodbye
turtle
before we
dress.
even get the best bets. See, this is what happens when you join a program like this. That means it's time for Take It to the Bank, our favorite bets of the weekend. Erin, why don't you lead us off before I almost unceremoniously kicked you out the door? What do you like?
So I like Bills Tampa Bay under in this game. Earlier on Daily Wager, I said under 54.5. It's now at 52.5, so that line's coming down a little bit. I would still take that. The Bills are great on defense. They can absolutely shut down Tom Brady in the passing attack. And you know Tom Brady's putting up 311 yards per game this season. Also, they're putting up 31 points per game this season. So considering we have 2 great offenses, we also have 2 great defenses. Tampa Bay is number 1 in terms of rushing yards allowed for opponents. They'll be able to shut each other down in a way, and I don't see, this is a huge, huge total, the biggest for Week 14. I see this being an under game for sure. I mean, it might be a shootout considering the line, but I don't see them hitting over 52.5 points, let alone 54.5 points.
Good stuff, Aaron. I like that game as well. I think it's going to be one of the more interesting ones to watch, whether it's a shootout or not with those two teams. A bet that I've taken to the bank a lot here is when a team is favored by double digits, instead of laying that number, their offense is good against the bad defense, especially if the total's above 45. Just play the team total touchdowns over whatever. I'm going to do that in this instance. Packers and Bears. Packers are favored by 11.5. They have Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback against the Bears defense, missing Khalil Mack, Hakeem Hicks, Danny Trevathan, has his 2 running backs, has Devontae Adams, owns this franchise. So I'm going to play over 3.5 touchdowns for Green Bay. And with Justin Fields coming back for the first time in weeks, on the road in a hostile environment, who's to say the Green Bay defense, which has been awesome this season, doesn't contribute to either a short field or a touchdown themselves in this matchup? Plus 130, also a good price.
I just realized something. With all the reckless talk today about this game, we're going to look like idiots if the Bears win this game. This is going to be a really bad
Except for Aaron.
Because we have been way too aggressive with our slander of the Chicago Bears. I will play the over of 49 points in the Cincinnati-San Francisco matchup. San Francisco secondary stinks, and they're going to be without Emmanuel Mosley and Dante Johnson, 2 starting cornerbacks today. So Joe Burrow, finger injury and all, should be able to get the ball down the field and score some points. San Francisco should have a lot of success against the Cincinnati defense that is going to currently rank 20th in the NFL in opponent yards per play. Deebo Samuel back. Huge boost for the offense. Pro Football Focus with a great stat earlier this week on how Cincinnati is susceptible to the passing game over the middle of the field, how poor they are defending that. That's all the Niners want to do with Garoppolo. Dink and dunk over the middle to Ayuk, to Samuel, and to George Kittle down the seam. Shootout in the Natty today. Bengals with an A, and the Niners go over 49. Erin Dolan, awesome stuff. Thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck today.
Of course. Best of luck to you guys, too.
Appreciate
Let's talk some college football because, it's never too early to start talking about the national semifinals. Here's what we got. The Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic featuring the Alabama Crimson Tide laying 13.5, total of 58 against the Cincinnati Bearcats. And we've got the Capital One Orange Bowl.
Oh, God, the suits. Love the way you set that up.
The
suits are
sucker
happy.
For a good sponsor.
The suits are happy with you today, Fortenbaugh.
Capital One in Goodyear. I'll see you outside. I'll shill whatever you like. Georgia laying 7.5, total of 43.5. So walk me through each game.
Yeah.
How do you see them playing out? Who meets for the title?
I want to start with the Michigan-Georgia matchup because I have more conviction there.
You go right ahead.
Michigan dominated a Big Ten East that was way better and deeper than Georgia dominating a soft SEC East. Then we go to their title games. Michigan predictably blows the doors off of Iowa, and Georgia, less predictably, struggles big time with an Alabama team.
I got both those games wrong.
I like not only Michigan to cover 7.5, but to win outright.
Oh, here we go.
In a matchup of similar styles, I just think Michigan does it a little bit better than Georgia. Michigan's offense is better with the way they run the football, and Michigan's offensive line is not going to be intimidated at all by the dynamic defensive line of the Georgia Bulldogs. On the other side, though, Michigan, led by those dominant defensive ends and maybe the number 1 pick in the draft, can get after very mediocre and average Stetson Bennett and make life difficult for that Georgia offense. So Michigan was the best team ATS in college football this season, 11-2. And I think they continue that, not only covering against Georgia, but winning that game outright. Now, I think Bama wins against Cincinnati. I just don't know if it's a blowout or if it's a close game. Cincinnati has 2 great, NFL caliber cornerbacks.
Yeah.
John Mechie probably won't be available as well, so Jamison Williams, more attention can go his way. Alabama is just better. I don't know if they'll cover. I think they'll win.
I'll keep it quick on the Bama side. I like them to win.
Yeah,
really
right.
out on a limb there.
Right.
But I would say this. If it gets to 14, you'll find me on Cincinnati. Because Bama doesn't need style points, and they don't need to humiliate Cincinnati and Luke Fickell. There's no beef there, all right? Get in, get the job done, get out, and move on to the national championship game against probably Georgia. I'll get to that in a moment. But look at last year's game against Notre Dame in the semifinal as an example. Bama controlled the whole game, got the starters out, throttled down. Notre Dame backdoored them. And that's why if it gets to 14, I'll play the backdoor for Cincinnati. It's going to be like the 07 Fiesta Bowl between Boise and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Unload the playbook, trick plays, all that stuff. This is Cincinnati Super Bowl. Have some fun with it. In the other game, complete disagreement with you. I will lay it with Georgia. I obviously like them to win that game as well. Roulette bet, baby. We needed to have at least one of those today. How did Alabama beat Georgia? They did 2 things offensively. 1, they threw the ball like crazy, and 2, they went up-tempo so that they forced the Georgia defense to either be out of gas on the D-line, running up and down the field, or they had to pull at one point Jordan Davis off the field so he could catch his win, and they're down one of their best defenders. Brilliant by Saban. That's not what Michigan does. Michigan doesn't go up-tempo. Michigan doesn't throw. They like to run the ball. They like to move at a slow pace. All right? Cade McNamara, nice quarterback, not Bryce Young. Good luck in this game. Big bounce back for Georgia. But if I'm wrong. I could, Michigan's been formidable all year, and I have not bought into them at any point.
I didn't want to believe in Jim Harbaugh this
Anti-Harbaugh.
year, but yeah, similar to me. But he's just defied expectations.
Let's go make some money. We're laying a lot of points. I'm laying points all over the country today. He's Tyler Fulghum. I'm Joe Fortenbaugh. We're bankrupt if the dogs are barking today. But we'll be back tomorrow regardless, right here. Thanks for watching.